Howdy, y'all. Y'all probably been wondering where I've been. I've been sick. Today y'all are gonna be watching me cut hay with the 4610 Massey and the claas 2650 plus. I've been pretty sick last few days. I haven't felt like doing much of anything. I just got a bad head cold, but trying to get through it. There's been some cool stuff going on that I wanted to talk to y'all about. I intended on having this video out talking about this last weekend, but unfortunately I'm just now getting around to editing it and doing it. Agco has some very exciting news going on. Something I've known about for a little while, but it wasn't a done deal yet, and I've been waiting until it was. Some of y'all may already know this, but Agco has acquired Lely's hay and forage division from them. Lely is now only going to focus on their robotics division for dairy and their other stuff. They're not going to be in the hay business anymore. What this means for Vermeer, being they run a lot of Lely's equipment painted yellow with their name on it, I don't know. I guess they're either going to have to design something completely different, or they're going to partner with Massey or Agco. I don't know yet what that means, but I do know that Vermeer does not own any stake in Lely anymore, because Lely back last year around this time had purchased all of their shares that Vermeer had owned back from them, and I believe they acquired everything. And now Agco has purchased Lely's hay and forage division, which means their Welger designed round balers and everything, which is what I'm interested in. Now they're going to be releasing hay or forage wagons, a whole line of equipment, round balers, everything. Massey's finally going to have a fixed chamber baler, along with a full line of proven top of the line variable chamber balers, which are speed balers that can compete with the claas, the high-end John Deere's, the McHale, and I think that is a huge step for them. Obviously, as of right now, they're probably just going to paint these things red and silver and put Massey on the side of them, or Fendt or Challenger, and sell them as is. I mean, they have a proven line here that's probably the top baler in the European market right now, with the Lely, and there's really just no reason to change it. Now in the future, I would like to see them change them a little bit. I would actually like to see them add the Massey's net system onto that baler. It's a lot less complex and easier. The Lely or Welger design net system is very complex. It has a lot of moving parts and pieces, brakes, knives, pulleys, belts. You have to put the roll on a rod like the Vermeer does on the back, except this is a front load, and it has foam rollers. It's just got a lot of stuff, knives to cut the net. It's got a lot of stuff. It is proven it does work, but they do have a lot of stuff there that's really complicated, that I feel like if they put them a Heston design net system as a front load on these balers, it would make them a lot more appealing to more people. Maybe more appealing to people that like simpler stuff, but they are really good balers. This is the baler that I've been hinting around about for a long time, that I wanted to get a demo of, and I still do. I want a demo of one of these. I want to try it out and see what I think about it compared to the claas, and I want to run the thing, because if I really like it and it's comparable in price, I might get one of these instead of claas, depending on what I really think about it and the features. If I think it's the better baler and the money's about the same, obviously we will probably, I've said many times before, I'm not afraid to make a change. And these balers are proven. But that is a huge big deal going on there for them, because they've been behind, in my opinion, in the round roller division for a long time. And they're going to be releasing, I think it's 5 new round balers, from fixed to variable chamber models. And you're going to have multiple widths of pickups, different options from chambers to belts to, I mean, it's just going to be a whole new line of balers that I think when a lot of people sees these, they're going to be like, wow. They went from being about mid-pack to being at the top. So they do look good. I was looking at a picture of one right now on one of the fixed chamber balers. I have seen these in Fent green. I know that Fent is going to release the full line of Lely hay and forage stuff, and they're going to be running it in Europe, the whole entire line, from what I've read so far. But that's a pretty cool deal going on that they've got. And yes, this is the baler that I was talking about that I want to demo. I really want one of these things to try out because I'm very intrigued with it. They do look really good. But that's the other thing I was wanting to talk about is it's got to where when I get people that add me as a subscriber, they get on our page and they see all our equipment, and the first thought that they think is, oh, these people's got some money back in them. They got a gold mine somewhere. No. Unfortunately, no. We make enough to get by, and pretty much everything else is went into equipment, and that's just so Uncle Sam doesn't get it. A lot of people know about this if you're in agriculture, but and we've worked hard for everything we have, especially my dad and grandpa. They've worked really hard to put me in a position I'm in now, and I've never been given anything either. My dad and grandpa, if I ever did get anything given to me, they made sure that they got labor out of me to the point to where it was in their mind I had paid for it. And it's made me who I am today, and I'm very proud of that. But that being said, I mean, we've worked hard for everything we've got, and I don't look down on nobody that's got old equipment, nothing. And because we were there, we had some of the sorriest equipment at one time when I was growing up. I mean, you couldn't even go in the field without something breaking. It was always something, and we got by with it. I mean, we made it work. I mean, we had to work on it all the time and fix stuff, but we made it work. The only two new tractors we've ever had on the farm is the 4610 and the McCormick. Everything else we've ever had's always been used. And the McCormick was purchased because it got to the point to where we needed bigger tractors just to pull the round balers. The 383 was maxed out on the 504L that we had, and it was just all it could do, so we had to go out and buy a bigger tractor. And at that time, the McCormicks come out, they were cheap because they were new to the market, and we went out and we bought the 105, and we traded equipment in on it, our old equipment, some of it in on it. We traded the 383 in, and then we were going to put a loader on the McCormick, and we couldn't afford to buy the loader for the McCormick, so we wound up and traded a Massey Ferguson 245 that had a loader on it we had, and back on the 383, and we bought the 383 back with its loader cheaper than we could buy a loader to go on the McCormick. And the 4610, we had old Dewitt's 2660 is Dewitt's Alice. I think's what it was. It was 60 horse, and that tractor, it probably had 10,000 hours on it when it left. His wore slap out, and the motor went through once or twice, and that was why we got rid of it. And at that time, tractors were cheap because row crop prices were down, but cattle had started going up, and we caught it just at the right time where we bought it pretty cheap. And ultimately, that's what's led to a lot of this newer stuff, like the conditioner and the 4610 being here, and the fluffers and rakes. Was the cattle market there for about 4 or 5 years was just phenomenal. We had never seen prices like that. And that's what led to us getting finally getting some decent equipment. And I don't look down on nobody with old stuff. We've been there. It's just a stepping stone, and someday we may be back there. I mean, it's just part of it. We're blessed at this current time because we do have some decent stuff, but most of it's not that new. A lot of it's old. Some of it's 10+ years old, and for hay forage equipment, that's pretty old. If you're in the hay business and producing a lot of hay every year, like the tedders are probably nearly 10 years old. The round roller, the claas, is 10 years old. The well, it's not 10. It's probably 8. I think it's 8 years old. The McCormick's, it's a 2004 model. I mean, you figure it up. People still think that thing's new, and it's not. The Vermeer's probably 2006 model, right in there. And when you start saying 2000s, people automatically think, oh, that's not that old. It is. It's 2017, fixing to be 2018. You go to counting the years up, you get surprised. And a lot of people still pull up here thinking that Vermeer's brand new, still to this day. When they see it sitting in a shed, they'll ask us, when'd you get your new baler? And it still looks just as good as the day it came here. And that's because we take care of our stuff. Like the hay business I've gotten with the squares, I started out with the 1840 case. I begged my grandpa and dad to get into the square wheel business, and we purchased the Maxilator, which was probably the cheapest accumulator that we could find at that time. And we picked it up, and we had an old Ford. Not a New Holland, a Ford. This thing was probably a 70s model that we had. It was wore out, and it probably hadn't been running 10 years when I got it out and went through it, cleaned it up, got it ready to run. I run that baler for 4 years before we got the Massey 1837. And when we got the Massey, it had been somebody had hit a stump or something with it and crowned the whole pickup mouth. It also had something run through the chamber of the baler. The people we had bought it from bought it out on auction, and they had repaired it to the point to where it was feasible to fix, I guess you could say. And we picked it up for heavily discounted price on account of it, and I brought it home and I repaired it out the rest of the way. And we've been running it since. I mean, it's not new. That baler's probably, I'd say that baler's at least 10 years or older. It's probably 10, 15 years old. It was probably, that baler's around the first of the Massey line when Massey purchased Heston. So it was right around that time, and we fixed it, straightened it out. I'm running it, but looking at it on camera, you probably think it's brand new, and it's not. And the other thing we added with that business was the New Holland this year. Up till then, I either was using just the case, and when we got the 4610 a couple years ago, I got it set up to run a second grapple. Up till then, I probably hauled hay with just the Maxlator for 5 or 6 years and the 1840, and that's loading 2 trailers, driving them back to the house by myself, hopping in the 3rd truck with a trailer, driving to the field, loading the case and the Maxlator, driving all the way home, pulling the pieces off, unloading the hay, loading the case back on a gooseneck trailer, going back to the field and repeating until I got the hay hauled up. And most days I did that 2 to 3 times, at least, when we would be baling hay by myself, and that was a lot of work. But we did it, and I worked hard, and I got us to where we are now. And we're looking, if we have the ground I think we're going to have next year, I'm looking to get a coon accumulator, 10 bale, next year. Depending on what happens, we'll see. But if we do, that's where we went. I've been doing this for a little while, or a good while now, and I've built quite a business off of it. And I started basically with nothing. We had the case we used in the chicken houses to stack our rolls with, and the Ford was something my dad bought in the 90s that was used when we got it, heavily used, and he just baled some squares for my mama's horses that she used to have, and for my grandpa. Might bale 400 bales a year with the thing. And I took it and we went to baling a lot of hay with it, and it did a good job. It baled pretty bales of hay. It was just slow and the pickup was small. That's ultimately why we got rid of it. But it was not new or looked shiny at all. But I mean, everything has a story to it here and how we got it. Like the Claas 2650 was an insurance claim. We had an old chrome mower, or I shouldn't say old. It was probably 8 years old. We had it. The power companies left a guide wire out in the middle of the hayfield, and it completely destroyed it. And the insurance company evaluated what it would cost us to replace it, and they give us the money on it through the power company to go towards a new mower. We had to add a little bit, but not too much. But ultimately, that's where that came from. And I just don't want people to think that we've had it easy or something's been given to us. We've worked very hard, and we still don't make a whole lot of money. You can ask my wife if you don't believe me, but or my mom. But we work hard, very hard still this day, and I'm trying. My goal is I want to build a good enough of a foundation to where the day comes that my grandpa says he's done, that I have enough stuff in place to where me and my dad can afford to hire somebody to replace him. And that's the goal for me, because I know it's coming, and I don't know when he's going to finally say I'm done, I can't do it anymore. But when that day comes, I want to be prepared for it, and I want to have a turnkey operation to where I can afford to pay somebody to be here full time in his place. Because honestly, you can buy a new piece of equipment every single year for what it costs to have somebody working for you full time. I mean, that is the bottom line to it. It's expensive to have help. It really is, and it cuts into a lot of your profits. And if you don't have a business set up with enough income coming in to pay for that, you're not going to make it. And I'm trying to get things set up to where when that point gets here, we've got something to work with to make that money. We're not making it now because I'm trying to build we're trying to build the foundation to where we can get to that point. And I feel like we're a lot closer than we were, but we still got a ways to go. There's several things that I still feel like we need to get to where we can do it, but we'll see. Hopefully I can get somebody in here in a couple years or something and start feeling people out part-time and figure out who we want to have around full-time, but we'll see. That's in the future. But right now we're penny pitching every dime we can and trying to get things set up to where I feel like we can make some money. So we'll get there. Right now everything goes towards equipment or something else. Definitely does not go in our pocket, put it that way. But thanks for watching. Please comment, rate, subscribe. Hope this wasn't too long for y'all. No, I'm not mad at anybody, but it does hurt to hear some of those comments sometimes, even though there's no intention of it being nasty or anything. So see y'all later.